We did it the first time as a giggle. We felt there were too many mutants. So we did the Massacre to cull the herd.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast about X-Men comics where we don't talk about any X-Men comics, Gary. There's no there's some X-Men, but there's no X-Men comics.
The X-Men show up for one of them. X Factor or members of X Factor show up for the rest.
Yes.
Which is part of why we wanted, one of the reasons, like, now to speak for both of us, why I want to do this crossover is because it's like, hey, what happens if we read a Daredevil comic?
Yeah.
What happens if we read a Thor comic? And it turns out the answer is, like, we spend a lot of time with Volstagg the Voluminous's weird adopted kids.
You may have done that. I certainly didn't. I was skimming all the Volstagg content. As soon as I realized that was not going to be the thing that connected to any of this Marauder business, I was like, I was running late anyway, so I was a little bit worried. But I just decided to skim right through. I was done.
Yeah. Well, just you wait until the final issue of Mutant Massacre, where Wolverine takes one of Volstagg's adopted kid and just fucking bodies Arclight.
Okay, well,
with it,
yeah.
Similar to Hulk using Loki as a flail.
Yeah,
just beats the shit out of him with die Arclight die.
If that happens, then I will go back and read all of the Volstagg content that any of our listeners will send me. But if it doesn't happen, I will never ever have to say their name Volstagg anywhere again.
The what a dream. Just there's somebody out there who's just like a Volstagg yak who just knows every Volstagg comic thing, and it just is amazing to me. This is the first time I'd read a Thor comic. So, I'd read this crossover before, but then it was the first time, and then it's been since then that I've read a Thor comic. So
it's not my first time reading a Thor comic, but it is the most recent time, and every single time it reminds me why I don't really read a lot of Thor comics, especially like early age stuff. Just the constant referring to himself in third person and like all of the flowery language, like that halfway through a lot of some of these Thor issues that we're going to talk about today. I was like, can you just stop? Like, can you just not?
Yeah.
I don't need all of this dialogue. Who are you talking to? Like, if I was the Marauders, I would also want to beat you up. I do not like this.
It presents an interesting idea of if you were an Avenger, because, like, by any means, Thor would be obnoxious to hang out with. I know, a lot of people would be like, oh, it'd be fun, you drink. And, like, yeah. But also, when you're not drinking, which is most of the time for most people, he would be talking like that. You'd want him around because he's a god and he could fuck shit up. Like, what else are you going to do when, Kang the Conqueror shows up? But also, he'd be really annoying to hang out with. Like, I imagine him, sitting in a room, like him being like Colin Robinson from What We Do in the Shadows, like just sitting in a little cell alone while everyone else goes and parties.
Man, I am, not to get off subject pretty early, but I am really ready for you to get to the latest season of What We Do in the Shadows so we can talk about Colin Robinson, because, boy, that's...
Me too.
That's some good stuff right there.
I'm like halfway into season 3. So this weekend, Liv and I will probably catch up. So
excellent.
We're not even talking about a Thor comic today.
We're going to start with the New Mutants.
Yeah.
And just a quick reminder, just to catch up. So we're doing the Mutant Massacre, which is where the Marauders decide to kill a bunch of Morlocks in the sewers, and seemingly everybody notices and gets involved. So it's going to be a lot of people.
Yeah. This is New Mutants, Louise Simonson, the two kind of architects of the storyline, or three: Walt Simonson, Louise Simonson, and Chris Claremont. This is Louise Simonson was drawing, she was doing X Factor. She's not writing this. Whoopsie doodle. This is Chris Claremont. I was distracted by looking at the cover and Colossus's long thigh.
Yeah.
Do you notice how long one of his thighs is in this? Did the Marauders do that?
It's have you watched any of the Sandman Netflix series? I'm guessing not. It's filmed in it's got like a weird image format that is really weird. And if you go online, like people complain about it constantly and think your brain just gets used to it eventually. But it's very much like they stretch the aspect ratio up. So like imagine if you had a normal like widescreen with black bars on the top and bottom and you just stretch that up and everybody would look a little thin. Like Colossus looks like that, and that's exactly what the modern Netflix stuff looks. It's really distracting because the very first episode has Tywin Lannister, and I'm like, I know what that dude looks like, and he doesn't look like that.
Therapist, tall Tywin can't hurt you. Tall Tywin exists.
Yes, I can.
This begins with dialogue, and I love when there's dialogue on the cover of a comic.
Yeah,
very nostalgic to me. With Colossus, long thigh Colossus, bursting into the mansion, being like, "Clear out, kids! This is a job for the X-Men," which is a funny thing to do as you burst through a wall into somebody's house.
Yes, absolutely. This is extremely
Magneto,
good.
Cannonball, Magma. There watching.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to start out with a bunch of dialogue about who the New Mutants are, the kind of kid team compared to the X-Men, and they're hanging out at the X Mansion while the X-Men are out checking out the Morlocks when they hear a weird noise. They hear Lockheed acting like a damn fool somewhere, so they have to go check it out.
Yeah, it's an emergency. They have to go get him.
Have to.
So they Cannonball is going to fly down this elevator shaft. Warlock is going to turn into some kind of ship for everyone, and Moonstar is like, I should go check on my horse during this time because she had just recently turned into a Valkyrie. She went to this whole zone was very this is when the X-Men crossed over the most with like Thor and Asgard stuff. So she turned to a Valkyrie. She had to go check on her horse, and we get like, I would love a fucking poster of this.
Dude, this is amazing. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is so good. Her going outside, seeing the specter of death over the mansion. And this is the dark soulsiest thing I've ever seen in an X-Men comic.
It's so fucking good, dude. Like it takes me right back to you said, I mean, Dark Souls is what first came to mind, but like just crazy shit that you would see in a comic book, right? Like this is a huge skeleton with a huge purple robe, but the skeleton head, the skull just has like tree-like branch skulls coming out and almost like a wing on one side, and none of it is symmetrical. Like I love that. Like I love the fact that it doesn't like match up on both sides. It's just all helter-skelter, and man, that is just so fucking cool.
He's got a hilarious haircut that's a small mohawk that goes into a double-sided mullet.
Exactly, yeah.
On the back, but it somehow looks good. This is the New Mutants, Bill Sienkiewicz was the main artist, and they would always do these big surreal things. This is after Bill's no longer drawing the book, but like, it's a cool thing about New Mutants is you get the surreal imagery from time to time. That's the cool thing about the Demon Bear and the like. She's freaking out because now that she's a Valkyrie, she can see the specter of death, and it's over the whole mansion.
Yeah.
No good. We cut over to Moira McTaggart over on Muir Island, where magic teleports in to teleport Moira McTaggart back. There's a bunch of time spent on like how Illyana did this through traveling through time, and she can't come back until the moment where she left. That is overly complicated. And she also takes her naked into limbo and is like, I have to make you clothes. And the outfit she makes for Moira McTaggart is hilarious. She's like, I'm sorry, when I'm in limbo, everything is infected by dark energy. And that means she's dressed up as this like awesome punk shoulder pad, like something in like a post-apocalyptic Murphy Brown.
That's a really good. I love the strappy heels and she's got the crisscross belt with the skull
tiny
attachments.
Little demon skulls.
And I
love, two little fanged skulls.
I really love Ilyana's explanation too. I wield black magic, which taints and twists even the most innocent of spells. Like she tried to like dress her like a schoolgirl, but this came out right. Like I mean, what is
Certificarum, and then like it just ends up becoming this spiky leather jacket.
It's so funny. It's so hilarious. Also, the idea that Ilyana can just show up and grab you out of the shower and then disappear you into limbo is really funny to me.
Well, it's so weird because the reason why the time stuff feels so silly to me is that like she didn't have time to explain what was going on or to let Moira grab some clothes, but then they have to go kill time in limbo.
Yeah.
Like just talk to each other, motherfuckers.
And or you know, just take your time. Like just take your time when you're casting your transportation spell or whatever. Like let's just like do it right the first time. I feel like this is all setting up a bunch of Ilyana stuff. Like this is just Claremont like seeding with the future stuff that he wants to do. And it just reading it out of context is just very funny. I think it's just like why does it have to work like that? This is dumb.
It's going to be a whole thing for like everything this week.
Yeah.
Is like seeding things out of context. They might work if I was just reading New Mutants. They eventually teleport back in when Lockheed is found, and he's found down in the hangar where the X-Men have busted in, wounded with a bunch of Morlocks.
Yeah, they are looking in very, very poor condition, and most of this issue is dedicated to, and I kind of like this as a concept, is dedicated to like setting up a makeshift hospital and like treating these people's wounds and making sure that like everybody's getting health care essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something I really love about the Mutant Massacre. Like, it's a thing that I really, I joked about it during the last episode or the episode before, I can't remember, but about how like I liked when I first read it, I was like, oh, these are a bunch of fuck ups. Like, these are a bunch of heroes that are going to get their asses kicked repeatedly. But one of the other things, that is a flippant way of talking about how there's a groundedness to this comic, and like the Mutant Massacre is a big deal. Like, I know that as an X-Men fan and somebody who knows a little bit of like Marvel history. But it's treated as such at every moment. Like all the other heroes getting involved, them actually having a body count and having to like stitch bones and bind wounds and shit. Like they do a really good job of selling this as a capital B big deal, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And that's
in a way that they might not now. Like when we talked about the New Mutant series, during Messiah Complex, and how it felt shitty that Yost and Kyle were just killing characters every issue.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. That shit didn't matter, and that comic book, that New Mutants began with like the Purifiers crucifying, 20 mutants on the lawn and stuff.
Yeah.
And it just felt so weightless, whereas this feels like it actually has consequence.
And I think that's the big difference. Is just the actual consequence of the whole matter. Like this is, I mean, a bunch of people died in the last issue or in the last issue of the series, but now like there's a bunch of wounded people we have to deal with as well. Like we're people are like kind of floored by it, and it's underlined as we go into like Power Pack and Thor, as everybody kind of takes their own individual trips into the alley and sees the slaughter. Like Thor at some point is just like, oh my god, this is horrifying. Like and it's just really good. Like it's just really interesting that they took the time to go through it.
It's very funny that Power Pack goes on a little tour to see like basically an absolute massacre.
These fucking kids, and these poor fucking children.
Kids, just like, oh man. I cannot wait to talk about Power Pack. Power Pack is fucking wild as hell.
Very funny.
So they're kind of taking stock of what happened with her. They're like, then we need a doctor. Magic pops in. It's like, I got Moira, and their Moira takes charge here. They recognize that Kitty Pryde is stuck, in her phased form. She cannot do anything. And they're all kind of despairing. Like, we can't do anything about this. Like, we're not equipped for this. And Storm is like, there's nowhere else to take anybody. Like, what else are we supposed to do? These are freaks and weirdos. We can't like take them to the hospital.
Yeah. Hospitals, notably, no freaks and weirdo policy. They'll accept anybody but freaks and weirdos.
In a world with X Factor hunting down mutants, according to these characters, like they can't go to the authorities. Yeah. They have to make this makeshift thing. And they're just really fucked up. Nightcrawler's really fucked up. People are really hurt.
Yep.
So they get into it. They start making a hospital.
Yep. And Sunspot is I think he's starting to lose some of his power. So that doesn't happen yet. I'm sorry, I jumped ahead.
It's coming soon. He hasn't been out in the sun. They show that it's raining. Mm-hmm. His power is charged by the sun. So he's pushing himself, I think, is what it's just trying to communicate.
Yeah. Sunspot, man, just every time I read a Sunspot comic book, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this dude sucks. He's so bad.
He's very he's kind of funny in the 80s New Mutants, where he's just like constantly talking about how cool Tom Selleck is. Mm-hmm. And it's very quaint. And then they eventually do more interesting shit with him when he becomes leader of AIM and stuff. Like he becomes this weird business mogul. And it's kind of interesting. Here he's just angry.
Yeah.
He's just the angry teammate that could be filled by Thunderbird or Wolverine or anybody, you know, angry.
I do like, just to underscore this again, like part of the appeal, I think, for them doing all of this stuff is it's not like what we see them do as heroes. Like this isn't fighting. So like Cannonball using Cannonball powers to go get supplies real quick for this effort is really, really cool. I always like to see mutant powers being, you know, used in, if not creative ways, then at least ways that we don't normally see. Like Cannonball, he's nigh invulnerable while blasting, but now he's just blasting to the local, you know.
He's blasting for speed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's blasting down to the plaid pantry. Blast me up some Pocky.
Blast me up some Pocky, please.
Yeah. Will do. Zoom. So Sunspot is carrying this big life support unit thing. I love also here Cypher is piloting Warlock as a little like jet ski hand truck.
Yes.
Thing.
Yes.
Warlock is so like wonderfully silly. But he's gonna drop it because he's losing his power, and Magneto unloads on him. Like, he's, you know, if you can't do this right, get the hell out of people's way. And Cannonball's like, don't you think you're being hard? And he's like, no, you know, we don't have time for this shit.
Yeah.
We cannot have somebody who's gonna be dropping these life-saving equipment when it means that people will die.
Exactly.
Because of that.
Yeah.
You know, Magneto the pragmatist. Here.
And there's a neat little section where Sunder, who's like one of the big hulking bruiser type Morlocks, is terrified and starts fighting them off to trying to help them because they're going to have to cut off his leg, and he refuses to. He doesn't want his leg to be amputated, but that's the only way that it's going to save them. Again, just like really interesting that we're spending any time on this whatsoever, because normally it'd be like the next day and everybody's healed and fine and totally cool.
But they're just that horrible elixir character. Like they introduced that little healer character so they wouldn't have to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like it's the cool thing about going back to 80s X-Men is that like they're really not very powerful at all, and the consequences are much more real.
Yes, absolutely.
During this stuff than they are now or even in the 2000s.
You think there's been you think there's probably been a little bit of like power creep when it comes to X-Men comics?
1,000%.
Yeah.
Especially like fucking Wolverine, where he used to really get hurt, and then at some point he like regenerates back from a drop of blood, or he gets blasted down to a skeleton and just, you know, regrows his flesh and stuff. Like there have been many attempts to course correct Wolverine through different ways. One of my favorites, it's not good, but one of the silliest comics, I read a comic in the early 2000s where every time Wolverine almost dies, he like goes to hell and fights his way out.
Yes.
It's not the Jason Aaron thing where he actually goes to hell. It's an earlier idea of that. And then he loses his pact with like God or something. And then he doesn't heal fast anymore.
Yeah, doesn't that get involved in like the Death of Wolverine too, where he's like making out with Death at one point or something? Like, isn't that the thing that happens? Vaguely remember this.
I think that happens a little later, but it's the same. Them trying to do the same idea.
Yeah.
You know, there's definitely power creep here, and you can see it here. Magneto cannot hold down Sunder. He's just a strong guy, and he's fucking Magneto. And then Karma tries to take control of him, and Karma can't do that. So eventually Betsy Braddock has to come and calm him down.
Yeah.
To absorb his pain so they can cut off his leg, which is a big deal.
Yep. Meanwhile, Danny is in the corner, having seen the specter of death, is kind of unable to stop seeing it everywhere. So this whole thing is just freaking her the fuck out, because she doesn't know if this is like all of the new mutants, if it's the X-Men, if it's all the Morlocks. Like she just keeps seeing death everywhere, which is kind of a bummer.
We take a little side plot here to do a sandwich fight. The Sunspot walks in the kitchen. He's pouting. He's really mad at Magneto. And he makes a good point. Like, Magneto calls me out when I make mistakes, but who calls him out? You know, and he is Magneto. He's big death toll on that guy. Mm-hmm. He picks up a sandwich to eat it. And then Rain is like, those aren't for you. And he loses his mind and smashes all the sandwiches like a huge dickhead and child. And they get into a big fight.
This is absolutely hilarious. Like, just Sunspot smashing a bunch of sandwiches for, presumably sick people and their doctors is extremely funny to me.
Refugees. Like the poor people who we don't live in the mansion, who got slaughtered. They cannot have a fucking PB&J. So the two leaders, Cannonball and Danny, come up and say, hey, you guys are assholes. This is why people don't take us seriously. And they're right. you know? So they're like, okay, well, let's clean up this thing and then make some more sandwiches. So they're going to make more sandwiches.
So now we got 4 people, instead of doing any actual help, that are just
duty.
They're all on sandwich duty for a little while. Like, Jesus.
Yeah, and while Cypher is just hanging outside, if anybody on the New Mutant should be making sandwiches, it's Cypher.
It's definitely Cypher. Yeah. Why are you
He can
not...
speak to sandwiches.
Wow. Yeah.
Be more delicious.
He should definitely be doing that.
Still, it's very funny. They all spend this time cleaning up the kitchen. On the back porch, Cypher is out there checking in on Warlock, who has turned into a little Death Star made of microscopes and telescopes and umbrellas and shit, scanning for things. And he's being real cagey. He won't say what this is about. We'll find out at the end of the issue.
Yeah. Back in the headmaster's study, this is Mirage, I believe, who is trying Karma. Sorry, I get the two of them confused. My bad. Sorry for all the Mirage stands. Now I just mixed up their names. Now they're just one person. Now I'm shipping them.
Courage.
Now I wish they were in love.
It's actually a fried chicken that you can get in Korean food.
Yeah, absolutely. She's looking for her siblings. They're not answering the phone. When Ilyana shows up and is like, "Oh, if you want to go see them, let's just go fucking see them. Let's jump over there."
Yep.
Which is kind of against what like the X-Men have said. Like, we should all stay here and like deal with this problem we have. Don't go off on your own.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All of the New Mutants have decided they no longer want to help the wounded.
Yeah, they're done.
Every single one of them has decided they're done. Listen, we're kids. There are labor laws. We don't want to deal with this anymore.
To be, to be completely fair, like if I saw Magneto dressing down my fellow students, I would also be like, "Fuck off!" Like, I don't want to do this at all.
Yeah, this isn't for me.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have to do this. So they're going to teleport out, and just as the other New Mutants find them, they're already gone. I like that, Ilyana is impulsive.
Yes.
Right. The rest of the New Mutants are there, and they're like, "Oh man, this sucks." Sunspot's a huge dickhead to Cypher. Here, calling him a narc at this point, and they're like, "We have to go get them. What if Danny says, what if the visions of death I've seen were for them?" And they go to Karma's house. They turn on her light switch and the apartment explodes.
Whoops.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. So the rest of the mutants all gather around and have a meeting about it, which is very funny and like a teenagers trying to be democratic kind of way. I think it's very, very fun. And they're basically just arguing about whether or not they should go track these two down. And eventually, like, Sunspot talks some shit again, which is very funny.
Yeah.
Noah Honor, less guts.
Yeah. He's a toady and a tattletale.
Wow, dude. This is a fucking hardcore, man. I love it.
And Cypher's saying, like, we're going to get in trouble if we go. So he is being kind of a lame wad, but also, like, I don't know. None of these guys. They only recruited Cypher because he could talk to Warlock.
That's it. Yeah, they just wanted Warlock.
Yeah,
this wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. It's similar to how you have to deal with Thor's these and thous if you want his power on the team.
Exactly.
You have to deal with Cypher if you want Warlock to turn into a cool jet. So they're gonna go. They go into the sewer to get there. Very hilariously, Warlock turns into a cool, like, Knight Rider car. They're like, turn into a plane to get us there faster, and he says no. And then they just drive through the Mutant Massacre and then talk about having seen it later. Like, they don't actually see the New Mutants seeing it. They just all come out of the sewers like, man, that was fucked up.
Yeah.
It's very funny. They also get seen the thing that Warlock has been seeing, and the next villain in New Mutants is Magus. Or Magnus. Magus. Warlock's father. I love the way these things are drawn. It's so fucking silly and weird. It would never translate well into film. Yeah,
I can't imagine
the Warlock stuff is
ever
unique.
trying to do Warlock in a live action kind of way. Like, there's just no way. I mean, it would be impossible, I think, to pull off. Although, I mean, I don't know. They do crazy
shit in like a Spider-Verse way.
Yeah,
it could be in like a spin-off.
I could be down with
kind
that
of thing. Yeah. So they cruise through the sewers. They come out and they're like, man, that fucking sucked. They get out and they're all talking about all the stuff they saw rather than us seeing it. Dealing with this, and they're going to go, they hear sirens, like, oh, those aren't sirens. That's the fire department because Karma's apartment's on fire. They're going to bust in there at this point, but then Karma and Ilyana come out. The siblings are not to be found, but they made out right at the last minute.
Yeah. And this is where Warlock completely freaks out. His alarms start going off. He turns into a weird, I don't even know how you would describe this.
Yeah.
The New Mutants
Cartoon.
are like half in and half out of him as he's got grown really big, and then like rushes back down into the alley with them where he turns into a super hardcore tank and then starts to like disintegrate. He starts or
Melt?
discorporate as Home Dude says.
It's fucking nuts. I love before this, because they still, I don't know where this is in Warlock's journey, but they're not really treating him like a person at this point. Like earlier when they're like, well, if karma and magic are dead, it's your fault, Warlock, for not flying us here, which is very funny.
Yeah.
And then now they're like, I don't know, what do we do? And the Cannibal's like, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Remember when Warlock went crazy last time? Like, what do we do? Like, nobody's really, they're not treating this like a teammate who's dying.
No, not at all. And this is, like you said, this is where Magus shows up and lays out kind of the idea that's going to go along, which is that Warlocks have to kill Maguses because they're the dads.
It's the technarchy.
Yeah,
they're alien race.
If they don't kill their dad, then the dad steals their identity and runs up a bunch of credit card debt. So
yeah, exactly. So he's going to preemptively strike. The New Mutants had to protect their friend there. This is all stuff that weirdly the Warlock and Magus stuff lays the groundwork for the Phalanx, which shows up at some point in the 90s. Real weird. But yeah, eventually other people start turning into this stuff. This techno-organic stuff. And he talks about how they disappear. Magic teleports them out before they can get stuck with the transmode virus, which is, I think, what Cable has as well.
Mm-hmm.
So cool X-Men lore shit.
Yeah.
Happening here.
Anything
But
with anything.
I love
with
how the New
Warlock
Mutants were involved in the Mutant Massacre, and then at one point we're just like, I don't want to be involved in the Mutant Massacre anymore. Let's go do something else. They just all did.
They just left.
Yeah, I'm out.
And this is going to take us to Thor issue number 373, which is got that same cover that we've talked about a couple of times, where it's the frame of all of the Marvel characters, and then in the center is just a very bearded and gloomy looking Thor, just kind of hanging out, staring that 1,000-yard stare that Thor is known for.
Yep,
it's very funny
written by Walter Simonson and drawn by Sal Buscema. A very well-known and well-liked comic artist. And like this style this is in, like, reminds me of comics. If that makes any sense. Like it reminds me whenever I see John Romita Jr. as well. Like it just looks like an era of comics to me.
Sure.
I'm not crazy about it, but it communicates comics to me instantly in a way I kind of like.
Yeah, it's definitely serviceable. It's readable, I think, which is sometimes been a problem for us on this podcast.
Yes,
coming into things that just you can't figure out what is going on the screen or on the panel, and this is not that, which I think is good. But it's also just a little weird for some reason. Like I can't put my finger on why, but it's not bad, so I can't really complain about it.
Yeah, it's exaggerated in like a Batman the Animated Series way almost.
Yeah,
in some things, like everything is kind of like big. So we start off, this is called The Gift of Death. We start out with Thor going back to Earth. He has not been there for a while. This ties into the Mutant Massacre at the very end. It takes a long time.
It's going to take a long. The whole time I was reading, I think I checked 3 times to make sure I was on the right issue, because I was like, surely we're going to get there.
Yeah, but we do get a bunch of funny stuff with him having dinner with a huge family and stuff, which is, it's all very good. He gets zapped by something and he's like, well, no big deal. Let's go. This is going to come up at the end of the next issue of Thor.
Yeah.
And he's talking about how he can't find his dad. His dad is missing, and that's a big deal.
Yeah, because
he's
kind of an important dude. So
yeah, needs Odin. He's checked every realm. He hasn't been to Muspelheim. Muspelheim. He tries to go there using his little hammer tornado, and it does not work.
Yep,
it's closed.
And he's
You know,
just kind
dun,
of
dun,
like
dun.
depressed in general. Like he goes to his Earth
Dude.
apartment, and it's definitely what is the Twitter
The male living spaces?
spaces? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
all it needs is a TV playing Bloodborne to the side to be like a fucking 50,000 like tweet.
or like Demon
here.
Souls, right? Like you just put a TV like a CRT playing Demon Souls in the back, and you got this. But it's just an empty apartment with a bare mattress on the ground, like nothing at all in there. And this depresses him so much that he leaves. He's like, I'm gonna go stand on a building instead.
I can't believe I rent this place. He's like, I need to. This place doesn't feel like home. I need to go home. How about the Avengers Mansion? Oh no, I don't need companionship. I'd be bad company. So he doesn't know where to go. Like, this is such a sulky baby Thor.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of Thor is this like emo kid, but I'm kind of here for it. It is funny to me.
It's interesting because I think if you go back and watch the first Thor movie, there's a lot of that kind of stuff. There's a lot of him just being kind of moping about because he doesn't have his hammer and he can't pick it up. Like it's a lot of Thor just being kind of sad about things in general.
Maybe angst is a big part of this character that I just don't know.
Maybe so,
because I haven't spent enough time with him.
People should know that you and I, neither one of us are like huge Thor fans. Like MCU Thor is probably the biggest character the biggest version.
And even
of
then,
Thor.
I like one of the three movies I've seen and haven't seen the fourth one. So like, I'm not that big a fan of MCU Thor. Like,
sure,
Ragnarok is real great, but I don't know. The Love and Thunder comes to Disney Plus on my birthday.
Nice.
So I'm gonna treat myself. Derek's in town for that. He's coming up to visit. We're gonna watch a new Marvel movie. It'll be fun.
That'll be an exciting time. It's a good movie. I think it's fun. We'll have to talk about it at some point.
100%, because I've watched Moon Knight. Then I gotta watch and I watched the first She-Hulk. Like, we got another MCU wrap up coming at some point.
Yeah. Probably by the time we get done with the Marauders, we'll be ready for that because She-Hulk will have finished, and all of this stuff will be done.
I'll watch Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
So he's brooding on a building, and he sees a mugging down in the park. Here, this is a character called the Park Prowler, who I really wanted to see if Park Prowler showed up again.
Does he got a wiki
he
page?
gets a name. The cops are like, we've been searching for Park Prowler for a while. So Thor doesn't know what to do. He's like very upset, and he's like, you know what? I gotta find the answers I'll seek. These mortals, they do better than we do. Death is the answer to every question. He's just angsting. Yeah. We come back to Asgard, and this subplot here with Balder, that is the most boring thing in the world.
Dude, I don't know what's happening. I don't care what's happening. I was kind of hoping that when we dipped into some of these series that we don't normally read, like Thor or Daredevil or Power Pack, that I'd be like inspired to read some of them. Yeah. It's had the opposite effect for me. I'm like,
not yet. Yeah.
has not happened. Do not want to happen. Didn't want to read the next Thor issue that we have to do.
And that one just takes place with like in the crossover.
Yeah.
The weird through line between all these issues is kids being exposed to death in an incredibly harsh way. So Volstagg comes up, and Volstagg, if you don't know, Volstagg the Voluminous is a gigantic fat dude.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the biggest dude. These kids are in bed. They don't know how they got there. Volstagg walks up, and they're like, Santa Claus, is that you? He goes, no, I'm called Volstagg. I'm a friend to children all.
You could hear the way this dude talks. I don't have any context for Volstagg, so I was 100% ready for Volstagg to like try to eat these kids. Like I just thought that was what was going to happen. I was like, oh yeah, Volstagg
will crunch your bones.
The child eater, of course, yes.
They're in Thor. They're in like Thor 1 and 2, but they all disappear. This guy. So he's like, yeah, Thor brought you here. He was visiting your mom, and the kids say, what about mom? Like, children, this is a time for courage. Your mom was killed by an assassination. Thor slew the assassin himself, but too late to save your mother. She cannot care for you any longer, so Thor has brought you to stay with me. Fucking nuts, man. Can you imagine?
Absolutely nuts.
Like,
yes.
Why is this Thor's solution to two kids getting orphaned?
Just here's some orphans, Volstagg. See you later. And
he adds them to the fucking collection. Volstagg has like 70 kids, we're going to find out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous, the amount of children that this dude has.
Incredibly fecund.
Meanwhile,
like
Thor,
voluminous loads.
Huge loads. Absolutely. Volstagg with two loads is how you spell his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Thor is in his civvy uniform. He's dressed up as Sigurd Jarlson, and he's going to the old construction site that he works at just to visit, just to see what's up.
It's so funny. Just he doesn't know what to do. It's a real like runaway train never coming back.
He just
singing it to himself,
no fucking clue. Yeah, is just wandering around at this point.
Yep. His old boss is one of those really good bosses that shows up in comics, where he loves him, he's really supportive and everything. And eventually he's like, "You okay?" And he's like, "I just stopped in to say hello. It's nothing. My father passed recently. I gotta go." And Thor tries to leave. He's like, "This was a mistake. I shouldn't have gone here." And the boss is like, No. Like, we're shutting down. Come have dinner with me. Me and my family. And he insists, and he takes him home to this weird boss character who also has 1 billion kids. He's got 6 kids here, and his wife. They are an ethnicity I do not know. The only reason why I say that is because at some point, he's talking to his wife. He's like, "Come here a second, Tina. Sigurd's old man just died, and he has no family and no friends." And then she shouts out, "Pig!"
Yeah.
What is going on?
I have
there?
No idea. I was really confused by this. Like, because he says, and he isn't married. And like, I guess maybe like does the mom think that he's bringing Thor home for his daughters? Because his daughters are immediately like infatuated with Thor, but his daughters all seem super young also. It's so weird, dude. I didn't understand what the pig comment was at all. I was going to ask you about it. So.
No, the reason why I mentioned the ethnicity before is maybe this is a saying and I'm just being ignorant, right? Like maybe that, I don't know. Like that's the only thing I could think of. Like this is an exclamation in a different language.
Well, there's also, because I picked up a little bit on this, like it was a vague, because she says, like she tells Thor, like, "Oh, never mind. We'll be happy to have you. I clobber Jerry later." Speaking about her husband, but there's like it's missing the verb there. Like it's like English is her second language, and I was like, but they don't have any other accented language in here, so I don't know what's could be happening. So
no, I don't. I do not know. So they go and tell Thor to sit in the world's biggest recliner for a little bit. Until dinner's ready, and she gives her kid to Thor to entertain Ernesto. Ernesto, is talking to Thor like, "Hey, does your mom make you eat all your vegetables?" While she's cooking, she hears Ernesto screaming, runs to the kitchen where Thor has torn Ernesto in half in grief, shouting out the word Odin over and over and over. He's in fact just throwing this kid up.
Ernesto. I want to you saying the name Ernesto. So the kids' names are Ernesto, Pietro, Giovanni, Maria, Rosa, and Gabriella, and like
it's a real mixed grill.
But they all look the same. They're all like dark haired and like I don't know what they were going for, if they were going for anything, or if this was just like we just name our kids stuff that ends in a vowel because that's the way we do it in this family. Like I don't it's real, like it's a real weird mix. I don't know what's happening here.
Thor doesn't understand Earth customs, and one year for International Bosses Day, he got his boss the big book of ethnic names.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And vaguely European names. And he just picked one at random for each kid.
Perfect.
Thor, who I love whenever they show Thor next to anybody, because he's still Thor. He looks like an inhumanly huge man. It's basically like there's a Hulk.
Yes.
In the living room, is tossing this kid up in the air. And then there's Ernesto's nickname is Pesticide.
Yeah, I didn't get that
which
either.
Which also is weird.
At all. Like, I did not understand what that was doing at all. I feel like I'm missing
Mom, it looks like Pesticide is in good hands. What the fuck is happening?
What? I don't quite get it at all. Like, I'm very, very confused by the whole thing. It's just, you mentioning the Thor being so big, I had to have a meeting the other day with a mayor, and I've never seen a mayor this jacked in my life. Like he he was wearing this like tight
like
polo.
Hagar from Final Fight.
Yeah, it looked like
Who's a
he
very
could
jacked
literally
mayor.
just flex, and the shirt would peel off of him if he wanted it to. Like it was that, and it was like it was weirdly distracting the entire time. So I was like trying to like do some work and like have a conversation. And I'm like, this dude's got muscles. This guy's got a gun show going on right now. I don't know what to do.
I being in the presence of an incredibly strong dude is very distracting.
Yeah.
Like I met one of my neighbor's friend recently, and he shook my hand and he did the like flex handshake.
Oh wow, really?
Which I have not experienced in a long time. Like I thought I had moved past that, in my life, and just had hugely jacked hand crushing handshake, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna go back inside. I don't know what to do or how to feel about any of this. I'm out.
You win.
I hit the bricks.
See you later.
Exactly. Exactly. So they're all having dinner. They say grace in kind of a goofy way. The big thing here is that Ernesto now likes cauliflower.
Yes.
And he loves milk. Thor just drinking a huge glass of milk, saying, milk sure hits the spot, is just very funny to me. Loves cauliflower. So does Ernesto, because he wants to be like Thor.
Of course.
Everybody loves Thor.
Yeah.
Here they're like, do you got any little brothers back home? He's doing the dishes, and again looks like a Hulk doing the dishes.
It's very unusual. This all wraps up with him saying like, oh yeah, they invite him to spend the night, and he kind of protests at first, and he's like, no, I'll tell you what, I'll take all the kids with me to the Central Park tomorrow, so you guys can have a day off. And like, I'm just
to
like
Volstagg, so he can devour them. Like,
yeah, it's really bizarre that this mom is just like, sure, you seem chill, take our kids, all of them.
Yeah, it's a real before times kind of thing. We cut over to this boring plot here with Balder, where one of his crows, Mutant, shows up with a feather, and he's like, I got to get to the bottom of this. So he goes on a quest. We're going to see the non-exciting conclusion of that quest next issue.
Yep.
The next day, Thor is at the park with this kid who just gets smaller and smaller. Look how small Ernesto is on his shoulder. He's like a ventriloquist dummy now.
You mean pesticide? I'm sure.
Oh yeah. Ernesticide.
Ernesticide
is just like he's like the size of like a shoulder-mounted RPG. Like he's just this tiny little nugget. It's so weird.
Thor rounds them all up and sits them down for the promised story, which is just him asking a guy. And again, remember, Thor can fly. So I just need to mention that out loud before we get into the details.
Well, the kids
of the story.
don't know it, but yeah, we know it.
But they do, because they know this is Thor. Like,
I guess that's true,
because it's revealed at the end that they figured out who he was or whatever. But like Thor, who can definitely fly, gets to the river and is like, hey, can you give me a lift on this river, old man, with his eye mysteriously covered just like my dad? And the old man is like, no, I'm called Harbard. I'm not going to give you a ride because you suck ass. And that's it.
This is one of the, like, God, I love old myths that are just like dog shit stories that do not have good messaging to it. Because like he's just antagonizing Thor. He's like, you're a piece of shit. You're not strong. You break your oaths. You're garbage. I hate you. You're trash. And Thor just keeps getting really, mad at this point. And then he finds out, like he takes the long way around the river, gets there, and turns out this old man was actually his father. All the kids are shocked. It's like, what does that mean? And he's like, I didn't understand it myself, but now I get it. And then he does a fucking Games Critic overread about this story and says it's about relying on yourself. No. Like you can go and rely on a ferryman to cross a fucking river. It's what they do.
It's just like, the thing that their whole job. It's just their whole job.
He offers to pay him immediately. Like he's not trying to. Thor isn't being crapulent. He's going to the fucking ferry to be like, hey, ferryman, be a ferryman. And the ferryman's like, you suck ass. You're weak. I wouldn't go over there with, in a million years. And Thor's like, well, that fucking sucks. And then takes the long way around. And that's the goddamn story.
And that's
like,
it.
That's the fable.
That is the story. Like, it's fucking crazy, dude. It's bonkers.
It's absolutely bonkers. And Thor tells these kids, like, the message is only rely on yourself. That's what my dad was trying to tell me. I don't think so. I think your dad was just being a fucking prick.
Yeah. Easy.
Then, because Thor comics are goddamn wild, 2 frogs crawl out of the crawl out of the marsh and start talking to Thor. These are frogs that he knows. This is Puddle Gulp. Tell me more. And who's the other one?
Hold on, I gotta
Puddle,
find it.
Puddle Gulp and something else.
And he says it here in a minute, but yeah, I can't find it now.
Yeah.
But,
Puddle Gulp and Bug Eye.
Sure. Yeah.
Who are talking to him, and because we know Thor was a frog for a little bit. I tried to read that comic and it's too boring. But you get these amazing panels where it's like Chig Chug, Ribbit Ribbit. Wow, are they talking? Rumph rumph. Silly frogs can't talk. And then Thor responding very seriously, when did this happen? And then the frog going knee deep. Very well, Puddle Gulp.
It's so fucking stupid, dude. It's so fucking dumb. And it's the kind of comic dumb that I like. That I'm not gonna say I don't like it, but
no, I was a pig in shit about this. Like this is the kind of stuff that I'm like, this is the closest I came to getting Thor. Like this unpredictable, like, oh yeah, sure, knee deep, okay, Puddle Gulp. Like it was pretty funny.
It's very good.
Yep. As they're getting ready, they're like, okay, well I have to go. Or Thor says I have to go. I'm gonna take you. I have to go. It's because I'm an undercover policeman. Very funny. Just trying to make up a lie at the last second. I'm like, no, you're Thor. Like we know you're Thor. Our father thought you were Spider-Man for a little while, which is very funny.
That is hilarious. Yes, that is probably the funniest line in this entire thing.
Like, blonde, 7 foot tall, blonde, 300-pound, all muscle Spider-Man.
Fucking brilliant.
So they started asking him questions, and there's this great where he's like, well, I've read a bunch of Norse mythology. Do you die fighting the Midgard serpent? And he's like, well, maybe not.
Who knows? Let's not talk about it now, though. That's what I say.
Yeah, I have to go. He teleports the kid back by slamming his hammer into the ground. Teleporting the kids back. And as he finds a secret entrance down into the sewer, he is being watched by Hela.
Yep.
Who is threatening to really fuck him up. He goes around a corner, he sees all the dead Morlocks, he's freaking out, and he stumbles upon he hears a scream, he stumbles upon Angel and the Marauders.
Yep.
Who fucked him up.
And Angel has been pinned by the wings to the wall by Harpoon, and he's in agonizing pain. So Thor comes in and just kind of fucks the Marauders up. Like they have no idea what they're dealing with. This is such a one-sided fight on Thor's side that it's
a real superhero has shown up. Like an Avenger has shown up in this fucking small little league game.
Yeah. Not just somebody who is so desperate for some peace that they live in a fucking sewer. Like an actual superhero shows up.
Like finally a superhero showed up. He sees Angel against the wall, and I love this where he's like, is it the Angel of Death himself? And then gets a little closer and it's Angel. But like, I don't know, man. Get some chill, buddy. And he swears vengeance.
Yes.
I'm gonna fuck you up because I'm Thor and I don't stand for this shit. And this leads us into Power Pack number 27. This is also I'd read this comic when I read this trade a long time ago, but I didn't remember it. So this is also new to me. Power Pack is fucking wild.
Power Pack is fucking weird, Gary. That's what Power Pack is. Like I knew what Power Pack was, and I'm pretty sure as a kid I may have had some of these comics. But man, I just could not be prepared for just not even adolescent children like fighting crime or whatever.
The tween. I want to say the tween group, but the youngest one is 5.
Yeah,
5-year-old. And this is the Mutant Massacre we're talking about. Just as a little reminder. So these kids are going to learn about dead Morlocks by the hundreds.
Yeah,
in this issue. Did you know I read the Wikipedia for the Power Pack before this, and I did not know about the Power Pack, which has 2 awesome little nuggets here. One, the way that they got their powers, it's a family with the last name Power. A dying alien named Whitey gives them their powers.
Okay.
So Whitey, they got their powers from Whitey. Okay. And then the Age of Apocalypse version of Power Packs is 1 sentence. The Power Children have been captured and used by the Beast in his gruesome experiments, ended with fusing the 4 siblings together. They were later dissected and kept sealed in containing tubes in a secret laboratory in the Yucatan.
What?
Period. Yes. So they've been fused together. I have to read Age of Apocalypse fucking Power Pack.
That's fused together? That's horrifying.
Apparently in Exiles issue 61 is how we learn about that. So like that is after I quit Exiles.
Uh-huh.
I am going to go back and read the arc where they go to Age of Apocalypse and see the Power Pack kids put into a horrifying like human centipede Grand Floon thing.
We have to. Like that there's no question about it. We absolutely have to. We need to cover it for the podcast at some point.
Yeah. I mean like Exiles is kind of fun anyway. Like it outstays its welcome, but it's fun. The Power Pack getting dissected issue. That's
too much. That is entirely too fucking much right there is what that is.
It's an incredible sentence. It's real good. This version of the Power Pack, it looks like it's got Black Panther, Scalp Hunter, Dark Beast, Scarlet Witch, Blink, and then maybe Megan from Excalibur.
Sure. Okay.
So weird team. Weird fucking team.
And Megan. It's always a very funny thing to put at the end of these things.
So this cover, we got the Power Pack. We got Wolverine and a bunch of kids. As Sabretooth is about to fucking rip out the throat of Franklin Richards.
Yeah. He don't give a fuck.
Here. It's just they have no business being here.
No, and they weren't allowed to. They just left. Like they had a perfectly safe home, and that's what happens at the very beginning. Is they're like hanging out at the house, and then they're like, "Oh, we need to leave. We need to go to the horrifying part of the world."
This is what they do instead of going to bed. Contrast them with the New Mutants, who are like, "I cannot get away from this makeshift hospital fast enough." Where the Power Pack are like, "I'm 5, and I'm going into the sewer to fight marauders."
Insanity,
like
dude.
It's fucking nuts, man. Really weird comic. Starts out with this family. They're all playing goofs on each other, watching TV to see if anything happened with their battle with Snark World. Snark World are one of their big arch enemies. They have 2 arch enemies: the Snark aliens and the Boogeyman. I found out today.
That is an interesting. Sure. Okay.
Snark World.
Oh, I'm down.
A horrible website, like a horrible vlog from 2004.
Yeah, something awful had a like a little back and forth with them. I don't know if you remember that, but they were really
it
was E-Bombs World and Snark World. Those were the 2 big something awful
battle of the worlds. The pranks they're playing for each other. One of the older brothers sticks a piece of popcorn like down his brother's ass crack, which like isn't beyond the pale. I feel like that's kind of something that would happen, but also it's a little weird. This panel of this kid's head turning all the way around.
Yeah, I've
as he reaches into his asshole to pull out some popcorn.
I've never done this, and no one has ever done this to me. And if they did it to me right now, I would literally just execute them. Like this would be the worst thing that would ever happen to me. I have no patience for anything like this whatsoever. I would be immediately extremely mad.
Dude, stay the fuck away from my ass. Like it's not. Not even for like weird gay panic reason. Just I don't want a piece of popcorn in my butt.
Yeah, don't want to do it, dude. Sorry, this is not a thing that I want to do all the time. I don't want you to do it either. They're also watching on TV where the X Factor is on, and there's a lot of discussion about whether or not the X Factor, who are mutant investigators, are the exterminators. They're actually the good guys. And the Power Pack seems to know some of the stuff, but boy, even like. What are we, like 8 issues into the Mutant Massacre, and I'm already fucking done. I don't know how long that goes on in the actual X Factor comic, but I am beyond done with it.
If you remember from the last X Factor, it's ending soon because they got exposed. Warren Worthington got exposed as the financier for it. So I think this double identity bullshit is ending soon.
Good.
The other thing that's important to learn is it's the Power Pack kids, and they have Franklin Richards with them. He is a member of the Power Pack. He's hanging out with them. This is when before he becomes like a reality god.
Yeah.
Franklin Richards is the most powerful mutant, one of the most powerful mutants in Marvel. This is when he's just like a little baby and he has weird dreams.
Yep.
But it doesn't stop him from going into the death sewers.
No. In fact, it causes them to do it.
Yeah. They also did a thing recently before this that makes it extra confusing for me, who has no attachment to these characters, where they all swapped powers before this.
Yeah.
And a lot of the dialogue about this is about coming up with new code names and adjusting to having each other's powers.
Yeah, one of the first brother fights is like the younger brother now has the gravity powers of the older brother, and it uses it to like kind of just whip the older brother's ass a little bit, which is extremely funny to me.
He basically dunks him onto the bed.
Yeah, it's just very funny. Like this is some kid shit right here, and I really do dig it. So
yeah, the spectacular power switch occurred in number 25. In case you want to see that, they took each other's powers. They're being put to bed here. They all go to bed. Franklin says, I want my mommy, and they're like, no, we called the Fantastic Four. They weren't home, and Franklin was just like, maybe I could live with you. And they never let me have popcorn. It's just very a baby in this comic.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to find out, the baby enjoys it here. The baby is going to find out about death very soon. As the baby, Franklin Richards, is having dreams, he dreams of Artie, or Leech rather,
getting some head from Artie.
Holding on,
is what it looks like.
That's Caliban, but it looks like Artie. He's holding a guy. It's like a weird, horrible little ET thing. He's got weirdly mutated feet, except he has 4 toes. Like, I don't know, this weird little goblin. This artist, we didn't talk about this. This is Louis Simonson, and it's John Bogdanove as the penciler. This guy, so the art in this is inoffensive to me.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, this is the guy who I believe did the absolutely dog shit embarrassing art during Extinction Agenda, during X Factor, and makes everybody look awful.
Interesting.
Like everybody looks like their faces have all been like beat up, even when they hadn't been beat up. Eventually we'll do that crossover, and you can just marvel at this guy's bad art.
Interesting.
At some point.
Okay, I will have to remember to check that out, because this was pretty much just fine. It was just like that this era of Marvel to me, so I didn't really have much of an opinion about it.
House style.
Yeah. They all decide to put on their uniforms, and it's time to go seek out Leech. So it's time to go into the sewers. You mentioned this before. There's some back and forth about like naming themselves and whether or not the Gravity Kid needs wings, and the younger brother is like, I'm not going to name myself. Was it Big G or something?
Yeah, he's
G Power.
He's called G Man or whatever for Gravity. The older brother's like, hey, you have gravity powers. You're going to need these wings. He says no. He says, what would happen if not having them meant you getting killed? He's like, fine, I'll take them. It turns out Gravity, the impetuous little brother, is totally right.
Yes.
The wings are useless and immediately get shredded by Sabretooth.
Totally fucking useless in this fight, which is very funny to me.
It's very funny.
He's
like, that's why I invented wings. You didn't invent wings. That's just a cape, man. Come on, power pack. There's a great, they're all going into the garbage, and the older brother, he has now energy absorbing powers. Like, Alex, come over here. Nobody will mind if you disintegrate garbage to power up.
We talked a little bit about like the moral, like as a mutant, like, should Wolverine donate his organs or whatever? And like, if you can disintegrate garbage, my dude,
yes,
you should just do that. You should absolutely do that. That's a good thing to do.
It's a 100% better power than like shooting beams at the ceiling, which is what you do.
Yes, absolutely.
In a minute. A power ball. They changed their name here. He's going to be Destroyer. I'm not going to keep them all straight, the names. They go down in the sewer. They hear a scream. The baby one is like, is that an alligator? And like, at first I'm like, of course not an alligator, it's a human scream. And I have to remember, these are like, that's Franklin Richards. It might be like a 3-year-old saying this. They don't know. They have no reason to be here. They all go down the sewer and they find Scalp Hunter summarily executing mutants with a pistol in each hand.
This is so good.
Just shooting the head,
bam,
blowing the head off the one to his left.
It's so funny, dude.
I laughed a lot during this comic.
It's so goofy. Like, it's
very funny.
It is just classic goofy comic book stuff, and you kind of have to love it. Like, it's just fun.
It's really good. A couple feet away, this is where Leech is being quiet, trying to hold the wounded Caliban. And he's projecting. He's like begging for his mom, Annalee, to show up, or Power Pack, his friends, to show up. And that's what summoned them via Franklin Richards.
Yep.
there.
So here they come down into the sewer, but who do they run into but Sabretooth, who just sees some kids dressed in some costumes and immediately starts murdering.
They gotta go.
I gotta say, like, this is pretty good. Like, this Sabretooth just showing up and being like, "Fuck them kids" is an attitude I can get behind.
It's very funny. And then the little girl going like, "Mr. Wolverine," like, when he shows up, like, this is ludicrous. Like, it's amazing these kids are not dead.
Yes,
many times over.
It's astonishing that they are not dead. To be honest with you,
the people who run Marvel like agreed with that, because when they came back, they eventually put them out of continuity. They're like, we can't have these kids hanging around when Civil War is about.
Sure,
you know, these kids can't wrestle with Krakoa.
We can't bring a 5-year-old to Battle World. Even we're not that crazy.
A kid cannot see the fashions of the Hellfire Gala. You know, like we can't have a kid seeing Gambit's ball sack hanging out. You know, they're holding their own, weirdly enough. The older kid cannot bring it to himself to use his powers on Sabretooth, so Gravity Kid, after getting his wings that the other kid says he invented ripped, stomps on Sabretooth's back here. And eventually the Blast Kid blasts the ceiling and buries Sabretooth, and the younger kid is like, he's just going to come out and run at us. Like, you wuss, why didn't you kill him?
Yeah.
You know, why didn't you take him out? And that, you know, fair. He's Sabretooth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you should probably kill this dude. Like, we keep talking about it. Like, it's so much would have been saved if you just killed Sabretooth a long time ago.
And at the very least, you can blast him if he's about to cut your head off.
Yeah. That's easy. That's
you know, you don't have to
self-defense,
kill him,
dude.
but blast him.
Yeah, at least nigh invulnerable while I'm blasting. Yeah, this is kind of ridiculous and crazy to me. This entire fight is so fucking, like, as I was reading, I'm like, are they really is Sabretooth trying to kill like an 5-year-old? Like, what the fuck is happening at Marvel?
He's trying to kill this 5-year-old who is holding his own. They run into Wolverine. And I like how Wolverine purports himself here. Like, he's the only sane person in this whole thing. He's like, hey, your friends are probably dead. This is a really bad scene. I'm going to go try to save some lives. Do you want to leave, or do I have to let those people die so I can escort you out? You know, I'm like, fuck, man. Hard truths.
Wolverine. I love the way that we're just telling kids that they've died, their friends are dead constantly. Like, I mean, this is between this and the last Thor issue. It's very, very funny,
dude. Well, later when they tell Artie that Anna Lee died.
Oh, I know, man.
Like, we're gonna get it's so good. Like, this is such a weird series of issues for people telling kids that their parents died. If that is your IMDb tag, you will love the Mutant Massacre.
You will absolutely love this. So the kids decide to stay behind and find Leech after all. And this is where they find Amelie dead. And then shortly thereafter, we're greeted with one of the most amazing things that has a huge amount of lore for you and you personally. They run into the X-Men, or excuse me, the X Factor, and it's Table Boy. Mm-hmm. He's back. Mm-hmm. He's here.
He's here, and he's a bed. He's got a headboard and a footboard. He's walking another hurt Morlock around on his bed self, kind of crab walking.
Mm-hmm.
He can be other kinds of furniture, not just the table.
I
love to see him.
The idea here, like, this is so well realized, and I like this. Just like they capture him in motion in a way that I'm just astonished by. Like, seeing him walk like only on his 2 fingers, like he's kind of like doing a weird walk with his fingers, and then his his legs are moving back and forth on the side on like the footboard. I guess it's just and he's got pants on. This is too much for
his
me,
pants. The butt of his pants is the front of the bed. Like, the anatomy of this guy is fucking nuts, man. I would love somebody to draw the skeleton, like an X-ray of this image.
Yes, please.
Like,
we need to know. Absolutely.
Just incredible. This whole page is incredible. I love this comic. I like everything about here happens. Like, so I don't know who that is, who is there, because they mentioned Skids comes down and it's like Urg, Tar Baby, Ape, Dreamer. Urg is the eye patch person. Mm-hmm. Tar Baby is the unfortunate name. That's not a good word, but that's so this must be Ape.
Sure.
Is Table Boy's real name? Just so we know.
Yeah. Good, I guess.
They grab him. Yeah, I'm never not going to call him Table Boy, but like, so they go there. Cyclops is like, I'm going to go back in the sewer. Jean Grey's like, oh, you're almost killed. Don't do that. And he's like, well, you're planning to go back too, right, Jean? Jean goes, well, yeah, I'm not injured. And then Cyclops, out of fucking nowhere, he's like, listen, Jean, I left my wife and baby to be with X Factor. And surprise, you don't like what you see. The Scott you used to love had integrity, didn't he? Well, that guy is dead. And what's left is a darn poor substitute. I don't like him much either.
Wow.
Where the fuck did this come from, Scott?
Why are you doing this in front of children? I guess they're not with Power Pack yet, but
this is the same writer who writes X Factor. So like the last time we saw Scott, when he was angsting over this, he wasn't like, I'm a piece of trash, you should hate me. You know, my old good self is dead. Like they're both Louise Simonson. Like what happened? It's weird. It's super fucking weird.
It is extremely bizarre.
Yeah, and the kid. Well, so the kids aren't here yet. This is where the Morlocks are. The kids are back in the tunnels. This is where they find Leech and Caliban.
We have to,
and there's a lot of like. Or go ahead.
I just want to call out the plop because they're flying towards Leech, and then of course as you get close to Leech, the powers turn off, so they just all fall in a pile. But the plop like the O has a mouth, like it has teeth and like a tongue, like it's a fucking Rolling Stone logo. Like
Rolling Stones.
It's fucking weird, man.
The tone of this comic is all over the fucking place, man.
It's so weird. Why?
It's incredible.
Why did they involve these children in this? This is so weird.
It's so good. We enter into a fight now because the Scrambler, Arclight, and Harpoon show up. Arclight has divested herself of her bra since the last time we saw her. Like these are very pendulous titties all of a sudden. Just calling it like I see it. Arclight's pendulous, super strong titties.
I gotta love it.
Yeah.
They've got that new Soul Calibur motion system in it. They're gonna fight, and there's a lot of back and forth with how close they are to Leech. Yeah.
Leech being a huge, bad, huge liability in a fight. Here, but the Power Pack again are basically holding their own. They're Franklin Richards stands on Arclight's head and turns into a dream form and gives her a raspberry.
What are these children doing? I love when they finally get this. The Marauders are just like, we just got to get out of here. This is dumb. I feel like the Marauders are like, it's just so stupid.
We have a job. We're being paid. We don't need to do this. This is silly. Look at this panel of Gravity Boy slamming into Scrambler on page, I don't know. There aren't page numbers on here. It's partway through the fight. It's after the Beam Kid hits the ceiling again.
Okay.
Do you see what's going on with Scrambler's legs here?
Yeah, what the fuck
is it's real weird.
What is happening there? I guess I didn't notice that Scrambler was wearing hammer pants during this whole thing. Like that's very like he's just got them on. He's just wearing them.
They're big hammer pants. It was the deal he had to make to have both his shoulders covered.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
If you're going to be in the Marauders and not wear a one shoulder outfit, you had to wear the biggest clothes we can find. David Byrne used to be in the Marauders, but he quit because of moral reasons.
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Gravity Boy smacks Arclight real hard. It's a big deal. Arclight, fought Colossus to a standstill.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They're fighting and they're still holding their own, and then X Factor show up.
Yep.
Here and blast them away.
Boy, and you must be thinking at this point, surely the comic book is over. Like we have to be getting close to the end. Why is this comic book 25 pages long? Why did they do this? This is a really long happens.
Leech says, "Want mama?" And Franklin Richards, the baby, walks out to him and goes, "Sometimes mommy and daddies, they go away sometimes, but that doesn't mean they don't love us." And sometimes he's trying to explain. And then the older kids come over and go, "It's okay, Frank, we'll handle it. Listen, Leech, we found your mom's dead body!" Exclamation point. Annalise dead. Like a fucking, what an incredible scene.
Dude.
I just move aside, Franklin. No, she's dead. We found her body.
And it's just absolutely insane the way that this is presented and done. And Leech is like, looking up to the sky, tears running down his face. He's horrified at this news. Like he can't take it, and it's you feel bad for him.
Yeah. Going, Mama loves Leech. Mama loves Leech. They're all hugging him. Cyclops looks over and he's like, oh man, a kid who's been abandoned. Who would understand that? Oh wait, I would understand that. And then like takes off his visor and picks up Leech and like holds him like a baby.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's all very good. And he's like, we're going to take you back to your friends. We cannot give you a mom, but you can hang out with Erg, Ape, and Tar Baby instead.
Yes. Then he's like, thank you. That will be much just like a mother. That's the exact thing that I was looking for.
I really want to see Ape Table Boy like turn into a weird approximation of Anna Lee to try to comfort.
Yes, absolutely.
Like he still looks like him, but he's
I mentioned to you last night we were texting that I was watching that Harley Quinn show. And I guess one of the villains, I don't know much about DC stuff, but one of the villains is Clayface. And in this version of Clayface, he's like an aspiring actor, like full on like theatrical, like doing monologues, kind of tone. And they accidentally kill Billy Bob Thornton, so he just like spins around and makes himself Billy Bob Thornton, so that he can be friends with James Gunn, who is directing a movie about Thomas Wayne, and it is just absolutely hysterical seeing this dude try to pretend to be Billy Bob Thornton. It was fucking hilarious. Anyway,
that's very cute.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I've heard from that makes me really want to watch it. Like I like the real life guy making his way in there.
Yeah. And that was actually voiced by Billy Bob Thornton and James Gunn too. Like I looked it up on IMDb and I was like, what the fuck? Why are y'all doing this? This is weird.
Yep.
Anyway,
yeah.
Power Pack leaves is basically what happens. They're like, oh, here's a hole that goes to the top. Like see you later.
Yep. We had to get home before Mom and Dad are worried about us. Speaking of parents, we've still got them. We got to go. And X Factor says they're going to continue to do the Mutant Massacre. Up top, Gravity Boy's like, look at all this cool shit I learned how to do while off panel, and does a bunch of acrobatics with his gravity powers. And the older brother's very sad because the younger brothers learned how to use his powers better than him. Gives him his shitty wings he said he invented. And Franklin Richards is like, poor Leech, at least I have a mommy and daddy, even if they did go away. Like, the I is emphasized. At least I have a mommy and daddy. And like, Leech isn't here right now, but it's still a real fucking weird flex for a 3-year-old.
It's extremely strange. Yeah. Like, why are you dissing my dude like that? Like, that's fucking weird.
I don't feel like people who love Power Pack like love it for the same reasons that I would, which is that this shit's just fucking bonkers. Like I have a suspicion that people love Power Pack like take this stuff seriously, and they're not just like, why are these kids like hanging around all this death and bodying Sabretooth?
Yeah, it's fucking so strange, dude. Again, like we talked earlier about wanting to read these different things as we go through this crossover event, and kind of my internal desire of like, oh, I hope I get interested in this. Like that would be the optimal outcome of all this is I actually legit dig this and want to read more of it. And no, that's not what happened at all.
I want somebody to curate all the wackiest fucking shit that's ever happened in Power Pack and give it to me. Like I don't want to read it, but I just want to know like, oh yeah, this is the time where they taught Galactus about, the menstrual cycle because Galactus didn't understand it. And like, I don't know. I have no idea what would happen. It feels like everything's on the table with Power Pack.
Yeah.
Literally
anything can happen.
It's incredible stuff. Moving on, last issue we're going to talk about here, Thor 374, which will be pretty quick because it's almost all fights.
Yeah. This is this doesn't take very long to get through. But the cover is Blockbuster punching Thor down, and we see Angel still hung up on the building, which is kind of a bummer for Angel.
Yep, and Scott and Jean are there in the background.
Mm-hmm.
What a kick in the face it must be to the Morlock Sunder that Blockbuster gets to be a Marauder,
right?
And they have they're identical.
It's just the same dude. I mean, it's literally the same guy.
Like, different outfits,
bad.
but so they're menacing Thor at this point. This beginning fight is just I like watching Thor body them. Like, Harpoon throws his his shitty little stick here, and Thor just knocks out of the air. Blockbuster tries to fight him. Thor smacks him. Vertigo tries to make him dizzy, and he counteracts it by spinning his hammer.
Yeah.
A vortex spun by Mjolnir may reverse the effects of Vertigo's attack. I don't know how the mutant powers work, but I assume that's, it's not the air physically moving that you can move back with a hammer.
Absolutely it is. Sure. Yeah. That's exactly how it works.
Yeah, who knows?
No, I do. I'm saying this is me. I've looked it up. Nobody needs to check me. We don't need any fact checkers on Twitter to look this up. That's exactly how it works.
I think that part of the appeal of Thor probably is that it has that early Superman thing where his powers could just do anything that they needed to do.
Yeah.
Or like even early comics, like Magneto did that too. Or Professor X, where he hijacks into the mind of a missile.
One of the
like in the first issue of X-Men.
One of the early things that I remember reading about Superman, when I feel like the internet was it was still cool to be on the internet. I think it may have been an essay by Ryan North, where he made the argument about Superman's powers just being control of molecules, and he just happens to produce I-beams and ice wind or whatever. But that's just because he could literally do anything because these are what all his powers are. And I just remember reading that, going man, this dude is a much bigger nerd than I am. I want to kind of beat this dude up a little bit. This dude has been thinking about Superman way too hard, and that dude's writing I think he's writing an X-Men comic book now. So good on him. But yeah,
Ryan North has done all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, and he seems like a legit cool dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, but I just remember reading that, going this dude's a fucking nerd. This is bad.
They all leave. Thor's like, get out of here. He checks in on Angel, and Angel is just worried about Artie. And he starts saying, just let me die. I'm worthless. I'm shitty. And Thor is like, I used to be a doctor. I should save him, but also I'm Thor, and maybe he should go to Valhalla.
The language on this
is
exactly why I feel like I have a hard time reading Thor sometimes, because you said that in a normal way to say that. Thor says that by saying, the doctor I once was demands that I succor his needs, but Viking warrior is not so sure. He has given his all in battle, and Valhalla would be his reward in my world. Should I deny him his dying wish in this one? And I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude, just stop. Just please stop talking so much.
Well, and also do humans who die, who are warriors, also go to Valhalla? Because I thought he should recognize that he's on Earth where different stuff happens. There's a hell and a heaven in the Marvel universe. He should not be. He should understand that he would not go to Valhalla because he's not on Asgard. It's just really wanky. He's such a wanky little emo baby during this.
It really is. That's a perfect description for him. A wanky little emo baby.
He's going to take Angel and save him. We go to our little subplot with Balder. Balder goes and fights talks to a gigantic worm that's one of the fates to get the elixir of life, which he then pours on the wing, which turns it back into a bird.
What a waste of the elixir of life.
This is this is 5 pages.
I mean, this is just such a huge waste of what sounds like one of the most precious resources in all of the cosmos. And you made a crow come back to life. I don't care if it has a personality. I don't. And crow defenders who are like, oh, you could teach crows to follow you around and they'll attack things that attack you. I don't care. This is a precious resource. This is
Crow
ridiculous.
Twitter. Crow Twitter is gonna fucking have your ass.
Bring it, Crow Twitter. I am ready. I'm fucking ready. I don't give a shit about your crows.
I love a crow and I love a pet. I can imagine throwing some life juice on a pet there, but I don't want to read a comic about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is but again, if you were reading the main comic, maybe you think this was great. We go over to the literal sewer full of floating body parts and blood.
This has to be so disgusting, dude. This is just so fucking gross.
It's fucking Dark Souls level that this whimsical comic takes place in, where they're all kind of licking their wounds after fighting Thor. Sabretooth has shown up after getting his ass handed to him by Power Pack, by the way. He's bragging and flexing about these guys being knocked out by Thor, and Power Pack just took him out. So no room to talk.
Absolutely not.
He's making fun of Blockbuster, and Blockbuster and they're like, you didn't understand it, and Blockbuster runs off to get revenge.
Yes.
Because he's been egged into this.
Meanwhile, Thor is just kind of roaming the sewer hallways, carrying Angel on his back when he runs into nothing but Artie, who communicates with visions. And Thor is able to understand what Artie is asking and respond and say, no, don't worry about it. He's not dead. I'm just getting him out of here. We'll also get you out of here.
Yeah, let's scoot.
And then this is where Blockbuster, how he does this. Does Blockbuster see through walls? Because he jumps through the ceiling to get to Thor. And it's just very fucking funny to me.
He has that augmentation. And he lands directly on Thor's arm. He steps on Thor's arm and breaks Thor's arm. The agony is indescribable. He hath shattered the very bones of my arm.
Imagine thinking that
when you're very bones.
Have you broken a bone?
No. I'm very lucky that way.
I've definitely broken a bone, and I can promise you were not thinking the agony is indescribable when it's happening. You're just in agony.
Yeah. The very bones.
The kid that broke my bone though was like, "Are you okay? Like, we don't need to call the cops, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you need to call a fucking ambulance, my man. I'm 16. You just ran me over with your truck. I need a fucking doctor."
Yeah, I don't want to negotiate with your freedom right now. I need somebody to fix my arm because I'll die.
Mm.
Blockbuster's about to coup de grace Thor, and Angel jumps on him from behind, which gives Thor the distraction he needs to smack Blockbuster in the face and knock him out.
There was a moment, I thought it was this fight, but maybe it's a different one, where Thor is like, "My hammer, it's still on my waist."
It's right after he breaks his arm.
Is it okay? Yeah,
They're disconnected ideas. Yeah, it's right after he says the very bones of my arm. He thinks that, and then out loud he says, "My hammer, 'tis still at my side." Just unprompted. Oh, comics.
Comic books, man. You're so fucking weird and good. Yeah. I love you.
So they're all standing around. Artie projects Scott and Jean to Thor. He's going to lead them. So Thor is carrying Angel with Artie behind, and they're walking through the sewers once more. We check in on Volstagg and his collection of children. They are not happy because Volstagg just came in and told them that their mom was dead, and Thor gave them to Volstagg. They are saying like, no, why did mom leave us? And Volstagg's like, "My children, your mother sleeps peacefully in the gentle embrace of the earth. Her time in this world is done." Because again, that's the theme of this week: telling kids
horrible things.
And this segue, man. Your time on Earth is just beginning, and no one should think of going anywhere on an empty stomach. And he carries them down to his weird kitchen with Wife the Voluminous and his thousands of children.
Just hundreds of these little motherfuckers running around, dude. Like, again, until this exact panel, I was convinced he was going to eat the children. Like, just absolutely fully convinced. I'm like, I can't, this seems really, really dark, but like, sometimes Thor goes into dark places, maybe. Like this dude, because I had no reference. I did not realize that this was the same dude from the MCU that showed up in Thor 1 or whatever. Like, I just didn't know that. So like, this is, when it was revealed that he had a bunch of kids and he just doesn't eat them, like he has a plate of food, I was like, oh, yeah. Well, I'm not going to read any of
really
this anymore.
Really doesn't seem like he should eat human food, yeah. Like, or eat Midgar food. Something that would need to sustain Volstagg the Voluminous other than meat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the end of that subplot for now. Back in the sewers, Thor and company find Cyclops and Jean. Angel is also being an emo sad sack. Like, just leave me, I'm not worth it. And Cyclops is like, no, I love this. If you thought we'd walk through fire and blood to find you, so we could carry you back to X Factor HQ and dump you down the garbage disposal.
Like, if you're Angel, you're like,
another thing coming.
That's really specific, Scott. Like, I feel like you absolutely have been thinking that. Like, I feel like this is absolutely what you were planning on doing.
And Angel didn't say, take me upstairs and put me in a garbage disposal. He just said, leave me, I'm not worth it. Like, not do extra work to dispose of me in a cruel and painful manner.
Very strange, dude.
Just incredible stuff.
Just incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. They use their powers to create a sling for Thor's arm. Thor recognizes them. And they're gonna head back up, and they're like, "Hey, Thor, you're gonna hear some stuff about us. We're not, basically warning him, like, we're not X Factor, like, we're not mutant hunters. There's more to it." And Thor's like, no, it's cool. I trust you.
I like that Thor knows them from their fight with Lucifer and just casually puts that out there. And like, I feel like Artie, if he wasn't distracted, would be like, "Excuse me, did you just say Lucifer? Like when was this?
The fucking weird thing is Lucifer is an early X-Men villain who has nothing to do with Satan. He's just a guy named Lucifer who's from
Lucifer.
1,000 years ago with the X-Men.
Yeah. Fucking strange, dude.
Absolutely bizarre. They're all going to leave. So Thor is left down in the sewers alone, whinging about how desolate the sewers are. And then Hela pops up. And Hela is like, no, I didn't cause this death. And I'm not a fan of it. I just admire the craft. Also, when you came back to Earth and you felt that little sting, that was me. I'm going to make it so you will be afraid because your bones will stop healing and you'll live forever and you'll beg for death and I will never let you go.
Which is kind of horrifying.
And he gets mad.
Like that's a pretty decent one.
Super.
Yeah, this is like a pretty decent one, I think. Like as far as ways to punish Thor, I feel like this is pretty good.
Yeah, taking away your healing factor is going to suck for a Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Thor responds this by being really mad and incinerating all the corpses of the Morlocks there, while the Edgar Allan Poe story, Mask of the Red Death, is told. That is a surrealist horror story about a ball. It is not about any of the things this comic is about.
I don't understand. You're not saying that this is not related whatsoever. You don't see any kind of thematic resonance or anything from the Mask of the Red Death to this?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not personally. I'm too, it's like it takes place in civilization. It's not like somebody just, shows up and slaughters all the people at this party. There's like a guy who shows up. I might be misremembering Mask of the Red Death. Am I? Do you know it? Are you making fun of me?
I'm
or are you
making fun of you. I'm making fun of the comic book. Yeah, absolutely. Like
gotcha. I'm not. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, nobody yell at me.
I don't.
At Cole Ross.
Yeah. I don't. At Plumber Duck. I don't know the Mask of the Red Death well enough, so I was just kind of going with your thing there. But as I was reading this, I was like, what does this have to do with anything that is happening? Like, why are we doing any of this? It just seemed like a very strange thing.
And then you get the final panel here where Thor has the biggest knee pads I've ever seen in comics.
So are those?
Did you notice
are those knee pads or are those like boot cuffs?
I think there might be boot cuffs.
Because if they're boot cuffs, that has to be the most obnoxious thing to walk around in. Like, imagine those bad boys just rubbing against each other as you're walking, catching on things. We built
going through a door.
When we built our kitchen, we picked like these what they call cabinet pulls, the little handle things. And I me and Autumn like picked them out. They looked cool. We liked them. You had to have a whole conversation about it. It was like an hour and a half at Home Depot one day. It just was the weirdest thing that I've ever done in my entire life. But they are the perfect height for catching if I'm wearing kind of baggy shorts, they just catch the pocket and I just start opening cabinets as I'm walking around. And I feel like these would be even worse for this. You would just be catching on shit constantly.
Oh yeah. It's like if you wear, I switch over to earbuds. When I use headphones that have a cord, they end up getting ripped out every time I go by a doorknob.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be like that, except your whole life and by design.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just absolutely fucking nuts comic. What a weird week for Days of Future Past.
What an extremely, extremely weird week that this has been. And not necessarily even terrible. Like some of this stuff has been kind of fun. Just very
it's real
weird.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what kid Daredevil explains death to. Kingpin Jr. has to learn about his dead goldfish, and only the man without fear can take care of it.
Man, we were watching. It was ever since we watched Daredevil as it was coming out on Netflix. Like originally, Autumn is just refers to him as that Catholic guy. Like that's the only way she refers to him. Like that depressed Catholic dude. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong about that.
Yeah. That's incredible.
That's it.
Anywho,
that's been the Mutant Massacre. We've spent a lot of time in the sewers.
Well,
they're all
so far. We have more Mutant Massacre.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we're done with the massacre of the mutants as we know it. Like now we're going to go into the story. So we have massacred these mutants, is what I'm saying.
Yes. The next issue we're talking about is a pretty famous X-Men issue, if I remember. That is a big, cool fight between Wolverine and Sabretooth.
Yes.
Because Wolverine's still down in the sewers hunting for vengeance. yeah, and we have that Daredevil issue we have to get to. So we have like one more set of episodes.
Oh yeah,
or
we're not
one
done with
more
the
episode.
crossover bit by any means. We're just in the process of we're just done killing all of the Morlocks because they have all been killed at this point.
Yeah.
Yep. So
And Thor gave him the quick funeral.
Yep.
If you like this show, head on over to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and give us some money.
please do.
We appreciate it.
You get all kinds of cool benefits for doing that. There's tons and tons of exclusive podcasts. Gary and Cole just finished up the Venture Brothers podcast, and I was lucky enough to be able to guest on that episode a couple of times. I got the episode where it's the weird clown voiced by Luke Skywalker.
Oh yeah, you got to be Presto Chango.
And he turns into a treadmill, and as Brock is chasing
so
him,
good.
and Brock just says, "This is stupid," and stabs him. It's one of my favorite moments of all time. It's so fucking good. Just one of the best.
It's what the Marauders were doing when they were fighting
exactly
Power Pack when they decided to leave.
100%. Yeah.
This is stupid.
This is stupid. Yeah, and I think y'all have definitely announced the Better Call Saul podcast, right?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Very much so. Yeah, we are talking about Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad and El Camino. That's going to start a little bit down the line. We're getting art and music for it. I've heard the theme song. It's real good.
Ooh.
Gwen is doing the theme song again, and it's very good and very appropriate. And we have a cool artist lined up for art, and I can't wait to show you the art that we have. And we're gonna get some episodes under our belt and then start releasing that. It is a great time to rewatch those shows now that it's over.
Mm-hmm.
You no longer have to worry about like waiting, because those last few weeks of waiting for Better Call Saul were fucking hell. Because that show gets really intense.
That's why I did not do that. That's why I just watched. I didn't do that, and I haven't watched the show yet. So we have to finish the season. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, you gotta get on.
I watched Better
good.
Call Saul. I just haven't watched the last season. We were saving them up. So
yeah, it's cool. It's very good. Great time to dive in. So you can watch the whole thing basically on Netflix for now. And who knows where that'll end up, but stream it. Easy. Yeah, and thanks for supporting. Ratings, reviews on Apple Podcast are useful and effective. Telling your friends,
chatting with us on Twitter. We appreciate all of that. It's very, very good. So thank you. Continue to do stuff like that. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks with more of Mutants being massacred.